With my signature, the federal government will now resume normal operations, and my administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living, restore public safety, grow our economy, and make America affordable again for all Americans again.
President Trump there talking about the economy before signing that government funding bill late last night. This is the president and his administration. They're going to zero in on the whole affordability issue. Kevin Hassett's here now, Director, National Economic Council, North Lawn. Sir, thanks for coming back. Always
Sure,
get a sense of where you guys are headed. Here is Hakeem Jeffries firing a shot at you guys first. Watch here.
Before the election, Republicans in the House and in the Senate and Donald Trump on the campaign trail spent all of their time saying that costs were going to go down on day one. But costs haven't gone down. Republicans haven't done a damn thing to lower the high cost of living. Costs haven't gone down in this country. Costs have gone up.
So now the reporting is that the president himself will do a little stumping across the country. Is that going to happen? And if so, what's his message and where does he go?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've got a lot of great facts to get out to the American people. The bottom line is that when Joe Biden and the Democrats were running the country over the last 4 years, the typical American family lost $3,400 worth of their purchasing power. And already in President Trump's first few months of this year, then people have gained about $1,200 of it back. And so we understand that people still feel the pain from the deep hole that Biden's policies dug, but we're making up progress. We're making up progress fast. And you had a clip of Secretary Bassett, my good friend, a little bit later saying that we're going to close the gap and fill the hole that Biden dug relatively quickly. We see really high wage growth and inflation is much more under control. But the fact is that for the typical family, when they went to the grocery store when President Trump took office, they would fill the typical grocery bags filled with about $400 worth of stuff. And that same amount of stuff after Joe Biden's 4 years costs almost $525. And so that's the room that we're making up.
Okay, so I know you've got work to do, and I think you would readily admit that. One of the ideas is to make a 50-year mortgage. Put it on screen here. Over 30 years, you pay X amount of dollars in blue. Over 50 years, it shoots up quite a bit. Is this a solid financial idea for the consumer, owning that home?
Well, first, the 50-year mortgage is just one of many, many policies that are currently being studied. You know, we're going to be making recommendations to the president about like the whole suite of housing policies sometime in the next few weeks to months. And the 50-year mortgage is something that's on the table to be thought about. The argument for it is that it would really lower the monthly payment. And as you know, that there's a crisis in first-time home buying. And so that lower monthly payment would maybe help younger people get into homes who right now feel they can't afford them. The downside is that it would take longer to build equity in the home. And so it's one of those things that needs to be studied carefully.
Sure enough. The shutdown's going to have a long hangover. I think we all know that now. Just play this from the press secretary on Wednesday. Watch here now.
The Democrats may have permanently damaged the federal statistical system with October CPI and jobs reports likely never being released. And all of that economic data released will be permanently impaired, leaving our policymakers at the Fed flying blind at a critical period.
So is that going to happen, or is there another way to make that up, sir?
Right. Well, there's basically two surveys that they make. They have something called the payroll survey and then the household survey. And the payroll survey is a bunch of firms, mailing in their records. And, firms that forgot to mail in their records because of the shutdown, they could mail them in retroactively. But the household survey is a survey where people just sort of call people up and say, how are you doing today? And the household survey wasn't conducted in October. So we're going to get half the employment report. We'll get the jobs part, but we won't get the unemployment rate. And that'll just be for 1 month. But yeah, it is true that we probably will maybe be able to concoct something, but we'll never actually know for sure what the unemployment rate was in October.
What do you think the number is that hit the economy in losses financially? What is it? How many billion?
Well, yeah, the CEA guesstimates that it's about 15 billion a week, and so we were very hopeful that it would shut down right away, but it didn't. And so that adds up. You could multiply it out yourself. But the thing is that because of the airlines being slowed down and everything, the CEA now estimates that it lost about 60,000 American jobs, not for government workers, just because of the reduced output. And so right now, I think we're looking at GDP in the fourth quarter about 1.5% lower than it would have been if we didn't have the shutdown.
Wow. Okay, so we'll see what we get in 2026. I know you guys are pushing a lot of ideas financially with tax breaks coming for a lot of middle Americans in the next year, 2026. We'll see in time how that goes. I'm flying this weekend. I'm holding my breath that things go well. Last question here. The Fed target on inflation has always been 2%. We're not there. Right around 3% at last check. If that's the case now, would it not be wise to hold for now for the Fed and not do another quarter rate point?
No, I think that if you look at the momentum in that series, that it's headed right towards 2. The latest CPI that we got for September surprised everybody on the downside, and the shutdown actually it slows the economy a little bit, which takes a little bit of the heat off. And so I don't really think there's very much of an argument at all to not cut rates at the next
Wow,
meeting.
so you support a quarter point. You're bullish on that.
Yeah, for sure.
At least.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Thank you, sir. Kevin Hassett.
Thanks, Bill.
We'll see if you get your wish. Come on back soon. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.